What's up, FOA Squad? I'm Anthony, and welcome to our channel, Life with Anthony. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Happy Friday to you guys. Today, guys, I have a story time for you. It's been a minute since I had a story time, mainly because I haven't had anything to share with you guys. But man, do I have a doozy for you guys today. But before I get into the story time, I have a couple of things that I want to mention to you guys. The first is, I want to remind you guys once again that I am not active on the Facebook page. If you have not yet unfollowed me on there as I requested you to do, I would appreciate it if you take a minute and go and make sure you unfollow me on there. The page still exists. I, some reason, cannot delete the whole page altogether. I think the page has been tampered with, and whomever is tampering with it took out the deletion page. I don't know what's going on. I'm just not doing anything with it. So do not respond to any variation of my name on Facebook, whether it's Anthony Matthews, whether it's Tony Matthews, any variation. I am not doing anything on Facebook. The next thing I want to give you guys an update on is my hip. My hip is about 95% healed. I still feel some soreness in it, especially after a 10.5-hour flight from Madrid to Miami. It's still a little sore. I was getting up and standing up on the plane a few times throughout the flight, but I sit a lot, especially now that I'm back here at the campground. So I have been applying the cream to my hip a couple times a day. However, I did stop taking the ibuprofen. So I would just continue to apply the cream and see if that helps. If that doesn't take away the 5% soreness, I'll just take an ibuprofen once a day. All right, so that is it with the hip, but I am able to walk, and it feels good to be able to walk. And I am, just ready to become 100% or as close to 100% as possible. All right, so now that those are out of the way, let's get into this story time. All right, so if you thought it was a challenge for me to get from Miami to Portugal, wait until you hear the challenges that I had to get back from Portugal to Miami. All right, so the last time that everybody was together as a group on the bus, our tour guide, Antonio, went down the list and called everybody's names out and told them what time the driver was going to come and pick us up and take us to the airport the next morning. Now, the majority of people was leaving the next morning and going back to their hometown, but there were a handful of people that were staying 2 days extra or a day extra. There also was a handful of people that, because Monday we had our whole day to ourselves. So there were still a handful of people that had an excursion to do on Monday, their last full day there. So he just went down and gave everybody the information that they needed to know, since it was the last time that all of us was going to be together on the bus and as a group. So my time was 9 o'clock. The next morning was Monday. I kind of just hung around the hotel Monday. I did go out for a walk around the neighborhood for about 40 minutes, found me something to eat. And for the most part, I stayed in the hotel and continued to nurse my hip. So the following morning, which was Tuesday morning, I got up. I had all my bags packed the night before, Monday. And so all I had to do was get up. I had showered the night before. So all I had to do was get up and put my clothes on and put my couple little things inside my suitcase, and I was ready to go. I went down to the lobby about 8:30. Now my pickup time was 9 a.m. And around 8:40, the driver showed up, and I pointed him out because he had the whole gear on, and I knew he was from the company. And he had my name on a little pad that he had in his hand. And he asked, did I mind leaving early? I said no. So I left 20 minutes early. I wanted to make sure that I was going to be at that airport. I don't care if I had to sit around for 3-4 hours. I wanted to be at that airport so that I can be where I needed to be and get the information that I need to get so that I will not have any problems. So I get to Portugal airport and I'm there in plenty of time to catch my flight from Portugal to Madrid. So, board the plane, plane take off. It's only an hour and a half flight from Portugal to Madrid, and land in Madrid. I had a hour to get through customs and find where my flight from Madrid to Miami, the gate was. So, mind you, I had never been to this airport a day in my life in Madrid, and to have an hour to figure out where I'm going. And here's the thing: when I got to the airport, I noticed that it was a 1 hour time difference. So I looked at my at the clock. They had a big clock up at the airport. It was 20 after 3. Now my flight started boarding at 3:30. It's supposed to start boarding at 3:30 because the flight was at 4:30. But it was an hour time difference. Now I always thought, and I think they do consider the hour time difference. But any case, I literally had about 10 minutes to find the gate to not catch that flight. I didn't make it. I did not make it. It was so freaking stressful. It was so stressful. I had no idea, no clue whatsoever where to go at this airport. I'm standing there, I'm looking around, and it's busy going on like little busy bees, and I'm like lost. I'm looking at boards and I'm looking at everything, trying to figure out what gate it is and how to get to that gate. And then the pressure just came. It came. So I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make it. And then so I asked one of the airport attendants or one of the staff members that I saw just walking, and I asked them, where do I get to this gate? Now here's the thing about these tickets, that all these boarding passes, that this whole trip, they never had the gate number on it. They had all and every other kind of information, but they never had the gate number where you to board the plane. And I asked the woman why they don't have the gate number on there. And she said because things could change. The gate number can change at the spare of the moment. And, they usually will post up on the boards, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before boarding, which gate it is. So, okay. So, this woman told me that I had to go all the way down. She pointed all the way down to the other end of the airport, go down 2 levels, catch a train to Terminal 4, then go to Section S, and then find the gate. I said, ain't no way in the world I'm going to get all that done in 10 minutes. I'm telling you, I'm looking around and I'm heading on down the road, down the airport and when I say, she said at the end of the airport, it was at the end of the airport. I'm like, and I don't want to be that person that you see who flight, they got like 5 minutes and they running through the airport. I was not going to be that guy. I gave my best effort, my best walk fast effort that I could give, because I did not want to be that person that was sprinting through the airport trying to make it somewhere. So first of all, I didn't even know where I was going. She gave me the directions, but I still didn't know where I was going. I was like, I ain't sprinting. So I went downstairs 2 levels and the train. Now, the train took like 6 minutes. I'm looking at my phone at the time like, oh Lord, now it's 3:35. I figure I got 20 minutes. And this is the part that really tripped me out. They tell you how long you have to go to get to where you're going. Like it said, to get to Section S, it was 14 minutes. I'm like, oh my gravy. I'm never going to make it. 14 minutes. Because I figure if they start boarding at 3:30, and they were, I don't know what time. I'm getting the time confused now of what time the flight was actually. The flight was, yeah, I think the flight was at 4:30. And I think I got there at close to, it was after 3. So anyway, but it was actually after 4 because it was, I don't know. I don't know. See, I just see how I'm confused right now. This is how I was at the airport. So I got on the train. The train took like 6 minutes to come. I'm very upset. I'm very, not upset, but I'm very anxious and like, come on, when is this train coming? Yada, yada, yada. The train comes, but by the time the train comes, you know that area was like jam packed with people waiting for this train. So when that train pulled up, everybody kind of went forward, waiting for the door to open, and then they bum rushed to get inside to make sure that they get on that train because they probably, like me, did not want to wait another 10 minutes for a train to come. So I got on the train, got off the train. The woman even told me to get off the train. She told me to go one stop and then get off the train and then go upstairs. I went upstairs, and at the time I'm going upstairs, I'm thinking, okay, do I go back upstairs 2 levels? Because I came down 2 levels. Do I go back up 2 levels and find this section S? So I find a section S, and by this time I had given up. I said that I'm not going to make the flight. I don't even know which gate at this time that it's going to be. The boarding is going to be. So I luckily went down the right direction. Now, I normally would choose the wrong direction to go down. Like when you're driving and you should have went left and you went right. That's me. And so luckily this time I went down the right direction at the airport, and I ran into the help desk for the airline that I was flying, Iberia. I've never heard of any of these airlines that I've flown on this entire trip. I never heard of TAP, Air Portugal, and then Iberia. I did hear of British Airways, but I luckily ran into a huge information desk, and I was like probably the 15th or 16th person in line. And I knew once I got in that line, I knew for a fact that I was not catching that plane, and I missed the plane because I looked up on the board and the flight wasn't even up there no more. The time had passed. The flights were starting at a time that was after the time that my flight was supposed to take off. So I knew for a fact at that moment that the flight had left. The plane has left. So I get in this line. I'm number 15 to 18th person in line. And when I get there, that took nearly an hour for me to get up there and get my turn, because they had 3 workers working behind the desk. And so I went up there when I finally got my turn, and I said I need to be rebooked on the next flight to Miami because I missed my connecting flight. And I'm telling you, while I was waiting, I kid you not, if I'm lying, I'm flying, and I can't fly. I bet you that it was at least 100 more people that was behind me in that line. And I happened to notice on the front of the podium, or whatever you want to call it, the desk that they were working behind, said that they closed at 6 o'clock. I said, ooh, woo. A lot of these people ain't gonna get their turn, boy, because this place closed at 6 o'clock. And at that time, it was 4:30, 4:40, something like that. May have been a little later. I said to myself, woo, a lot of these people ain't gonna get their turn, boy. They gonna be mad as I don't know what. So I get up there and I tell the guy I need to be rebooked to Miami. And he gave me a new boarding pass. He said that the flight leaves 11:30 a.m. the next morning. He gave me an aisle seat, which I liked. I asked him, actually. And then he gave me a food voucher, and he wrote down a restaurant and said, this is a good restaurant. You can stop and eat here because dinner at the hotel is probably coming to an end. And so he did all that, and he told me the name of the hotel and the shuttle bus that I should be looking for. And then he said, just follow the exit signs until you get out to where the shuttle buses are. So I get to walking. I figure at this time I might as well take my time, because I ain't going nowhere. I might as well just go ahead and take my time. I relieve myself from the stress, because I knew at that point, once again, I wasn't even going anywhere. So I just started strolling and making my way to where the shuttle was, or to the restaurant. So after walking a little bit and going down a couple levels and everything, I asked another attendant. I said, do you know where this restaurant is? And they told me, oh, go through those two doors there and it's to your left. And I did that. Now, ate at the restaurant. The voucher, I had a nice big piece of chicken, a salad, a cup of yogurt, a drink. And speaking of drinks, let me tell you something. I drank mostly peach iced tea, peach flavored iced tea. It was delicious. I don't care. When in Portugal, when I got that peach iced tea or even the lemon iced tea, it was delicious. I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. That flavor was on point. Anywho, I got the meal. I ate most of it. I took the salad and the yogurt to the hotel. Now, speaking of getting to the hotel, I finished eating. I make my way to the where the hotel shuttle buses go. When I tell you, it took like an hour for that hotel shuttle bus to come. I called the hotel after like 30 minutes and said, how often does the shuttle bus run? And she's like, what terminal are you in? I went brain freeze and didn't even remember what terminal I was in. And then after the fact, I was like, okay. She was like, call me when you know what terminal you're at. And then I'm like, Anthony, you're at Terminal 4. Terminal 4. But I just went brain dead for a minute. So, anywho, I hung up. The shuttle came about 15 minutes after that. And I made sure that he was going to the hotel that I needed to go to. I got to the hotel. I checked in. And you know how they like hesitating? Because I'm thinking, okay, is my name on the list? Because she was taking her time like she was trying to figure something out. Anyway, she gave me a room. I went into the room, kind of just got on my laptop and played around. At this time, it was around 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I really don't like getting to hotels that late because it feels like I don't have any time to just kick back and decompress from the day before I have to go to sleep and get up. I do not like making it to a hotel where I have to go to sleep almost immediately and get up and start all over. Well, anywho, my bus, the shuttle bus, I chose the 6:45 shuttle bus in the morning because I wasn't playing. I wanted to be there like 4 hours before my flight. And at that point in time, I had a little bit of memory of where I need to go when I got there the next day. Because I'd already went the path. I went the route. And so I got up. The shuttle man was right on time too, 6:45. Got to the airport, waited. I sat right next to some boards. Oh, my Lord. Ooh, Lord. I had the best ham and cheese croissant. Oh, gosh. It was so good. Because I had to eat something. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I had 4 hours before the flight was at 11:30. It was so good. I bought some Pringles, some popcorn, because I wanted some snacks on the plane, and I bought 2 waters to take on the plane. Anywho, moving along, I found out they flashed it up on the board, which gate. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I was already there 2 hours. They put up there which gate I was taking off on. I was boarding on. I was so happy to see that number. I was like, oh, God, thank you. And so I had 2 hours to make my way to the gate and, to know where that gate was. And I went and I found out where the gate was. And then I just found me a seat nearby and I waited. And then I boarded the plane, which everything at that point went smooth. And I got on the plane, and this plane had 2 rows had a row of 2 seats on this side, a row of 2 seats on the opposite side, and in the middle was a row of 4 seats. So it was a pretty big plane. So it was a woman sitting next to me. She had the window seat, and I had the aisle seat. Okay. So everybody getting on, all this going on, and then, we get to the point, the plane take off. Okay, everything is great. I love the room that I had, and I felt very comfortable on this plane, and I was like just ready to just relax and kick back and get this 10.5 hour flight on the way. So I would say it was about maybe a 40 minutes, maybe even an hour into the flight. I smelled something. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the hoot nanny is that? I smelled something. It was a man and a woman in front of me. They were a couple. I can tell by the way they were interacting. They were a couple. The woman farted. She farted. Yes. It was a solid but deadly fart. She farted. And I'm telling you, I almost had a near-death experience. I'm not even lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and I cannot fly. I thought I was having a near-death experience. So I look between the seats, and she's fanning. And I'm like, and that just confirmed to me that she was the culprit. That she was the one who let out the stink bomb. And she's fanning. And I'm just like, Lord have mercy. But that wasn't it. That was just the beginning. When I tell y'all this woman passed gas at least 5 times the entire flight. I'm not lying. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and I cannot fly once again. This woman, and all of them were stink bombs. And so after the third one, my neighbor, we started looking at each other like, she was sitting up there like this, y'all. She was sitting like this. Then I had my glasses on. So I'm like acting like I'm fooling with my glasses, but I'm like, holding my nose, but just in case she looked back at between the seats and everything, because when you're the culprit, you kind of look back to see how people reacting because you know what you did. And so I'm doing this, right? And so she's like this, and we looking at each other like, Lord have mercy, what in a hoot nanny is that? Stink bombs. They were stink bombs. They smelled horrible. So the guy, after this, I think it was maybe the third time she did it, he went in his bag and pulled out one of them Japanese fans that you and started fanning her. And I thought, oh my goodness, he had a fan? And I was telling Kathy the story, and we all agreed that she must have a condition or something, or I don't know. I don't know what kind of condition, I'm not even going to speculate. All I know is that during that flight, I was in the middle of a stink bomb, and it was 5 times. I'm not even joking. So, after I survived that, because I'm telling you, each time it felt like a near-death experience. I was going through a near-death experience, boy. So after the flight landed, I followed everybody. We went through the whole passport. And let me tell you, I got my passport stamped 3 times during this whole trip. Because once in Portugal and twice in Madrid. Because I had to leave the airport, go to the hotel, and then start the process over the next day. And they stamped it again. So I have 2 Madrid stamps in my passport. My passport is filling up, baby. It is filling up. It's going to wait to the end of the year. I'm going to have 3 more countries stamped in there. Yeah, baby. I'm getting some use out of my passport. But anywho, I get back to the airport, and I go through the passport thing. They have a lot of passport controls there, and which is good. So ain't nobody getting through those places. I'm telling you, Madrid, Portugal, ain't nobody getting in there and getting out of there if you ain't supposed to be there. So I go ahead and go through the passport control, and I go to the luggage where they start sending your luggage out. I'm standing there rather, and I'm waiting. Everybody's luggage start coming out. Again, another hour went past, and no luggage from Anthony. And I'm thinking, where is my luggage? And I asked the guy in Madrid, where was my luggage going to be? And he said, oh, it's going to go with you on your flight tomorrow. It did not. It did not, y'all. It did not go with me on my flight the next day. That luggage went according to plan, as if I didn't miss the flight. That luggage was gone. So, after the thing stopped, no more luggage came out. I noticed it was a desk and two guys was working at the desk. It was the help desk, and a line was formulating. I quickly jumped in that line. I got up there, and this is a good thing though, because the guy said, if you have a connecting flight, your luggage will be at the connecting flight. He said your final destination. And that took about 4 or 5 different groups of people out of the line. He said, if your luggage is not at your final destination, then you can go to the luggage information, whatever. So that moved me up to number 2. I got up there, and the guy got on his little computer, and I told him what happened. And he said, oh, yeah, your luggage is here. It got here yesterday, and it's upstairs in the office. And then he called the office. I'm assuming he did. And he called the office, and the office people, I'm assuming, told him that my luggage will be at door number 10 upstairs. So I go upstairs, and I find door number 10, and I'm waiting there. And waiting. Ain't nobody bring me no luggage yet. I'm still waiting another hour. Do you sense the pattern here? I did a lot of waiting. A lot of hour waiting. No luggage. So I'm going in and out of door 10 into the the airport, looking around, trying to figure out where my luggage is. Because at this point, whoever was supposed to be bringing the door 10 didn't bring it to door 10 yet. So I happened to see this sign that says luggage storage. So I went there, and they said, oh, we don't store luggage that, like from a missed flight or whatever. He asked me what airline I flew on, and I told him Iberia. He said, I would go to Iberia and ask them where the luggage is. So luckily, Iberia was like right there. But no one was working yet because the flight, it wasn't time for the next flight to board. So, but people were in line, starting to get in line. So I'm over there, and I'm all nosy, and I'm looking around and everything, and I happen to see my suitcase behind the place where the people work. So I'm sitting up there thinking, should I go and get my suitcase? They probably be like, hey, what are you doing there? You can't go behind there. So I'm thinking, and then I noticed a little message there saying that we'll start boarding at 7:30. It was only 6:30, so I was like, I don't want to wait a whole hour before I see my luggage right there. I don't want to wait a whole hour. So luckily, the guy who was downstairs that told me to go to door number 10, he come walking by. I said, hey, there go my suitcase right there. And he went behind there and got my suitcase for me. I said, oh, thank you. So I have my suitcase now. I'm feeling a little relieved because in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to leave that suitcase. I don't need anything in that suitcase. I can go and buy everything that's in that suitcase. All the important things I had with me, my keys to my truck, my laptop. I didn't have my laptop cord to charge it, but I was like, I'll get another one. All the things that was important I had with me. So I was like, everything in there I can replace because I was ready to leave that suitcase for. And so I went outside to where the shuttles were. The shuttle buses for the hotels come. Again, another hour's wait. I called the people, the hotel. No one answered the phone. And after an hour, I decided I was going to catch an Uber. Now, I don't know about you guys, but airport Ubers cost a lot of money. I only had to go 4 hours. I mean, 4 miles. 4 miles. And it was almost $30 for 4 miles. So I called the Uber. The guy was at the airport because he got there like that. And got in, took me to the hotel. He pulled up at the hotel. The shuttle bus is sitting right there. I did like this to him. Like, look at this. Goddamn bus is sitting right here. Nobody's answering the phone. I didn't even go into the lobby or anything. I went straight to my truck, got in my truck, and boy, oh boy, more unexpected problems. I get in my truck, I push the start, press the brake, push the start button. My truck will not start. I just want to go home. I just want to go home. The truck did not start. But luckily FOAs, I had my battery starter. Because I learned my lesson that time up in Massachusetts when my truck didn't start. I had my battery starter. Thank the Lord. And I popped my trunk hood. On my trunk hood. That's two different locations on the car, Anthony. I popped my hood. I started that truck up in about 3-4 minutes because I knew how to do it. Positive, the red, the black, go in the truck. It started up. I was like, yay, we getting there, we getting there. I pull out the parking spot. I don't have no power steering. I don't have no power steering. I pulled out that. I was like, and then the little thing came up. Beep, 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 beep. Was saying that the power steering needs to be serviced. I'm like, no, it don't. Oh my goodness, y'all. So I turned the car back off. I figured if I turn the car off and then turn it back on, maybe that little thing will go away and I'll get my power steering. Why when I did that, the truck didn't start again? Because usually when you use one of those battery starters, you have to run your vehicle a while before you are able to turn it off again. I didn't have that time. So I turned it off and it didn't even start. I had to do the whole process of the battery charger again. And then it did not work. And then I thought, I'm looking for I looked on Google at some potential reasons why my power steering wouldn't work. And one of them was to check the fluid. So I checked my fluid and I'm thinking I'm looking at the steering fluid in the truck, inside the front of the truck. It was only one that didn't really have that much, about a smidgen of fluid in it. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to AutoZone and get some power steering fluid. And so I went ahead and looked up where's the closest auto. It was like not near. So I called another Uber because I was going to Uber to the AutoZone, tell him wait for a minute, and go in there and get some power steering fluid, and come back out and hop back in his car and he can take me back. But I started the truck up again. Well, first of all, I had to back up in the parking spot, which was like with no power steering. I was like again. So I crookedly got back, and then I turned the truck off, and I was waiting for the Uber. And then out of curiosity, I turned the truck back on, and the power steering was working. I was like, oh my gravy. So I canceled the Uber right quick because he was like 4 minutes away. I canceled the Uber and the truck was working. The truck was fine. I was like, oh my goodness. So I make my way back from the hotel to the campground. I was hungry, so I stopped at McDonald's. At this time, I had a 2-hour drive from the hotel back to the campground. And I stopped at McDonald's like 40 minutes into my ride. I got back into the town of Clewiston where it was a Walmart and a McDonald's. I've been to both of those many, many times. And so I got me something to eat and continued I had like an hour and a half drive to go. And I ate, got back. I'm telling you, when I tell you guys, I have never been so happy to see my little trailer. Even though it was at night, to see my trailer, I was so happy, boy. I'm telling you. And I thought, please let this door open, because y'all know I went away one time and came back and the daggone front door ain't open. And I had to go get Rick to help me open the door. I was like, please let my door open, because I can't take no more. I can't take no more today. And it opened, and I had my bicycle in here because I stored my bicycle in here. I took my bicycle out, and then I brought my suitcase and everything, and I just started, unloading stuff and getting everything in order. But that was my day. That was my day. So going to Portugal, my flight was canceled. Coming back to Miami, I missed the connecting flight. Had to stay in the hotel again. I'm telling you, it was something. And I learned some things about this trip, though. So, my next trip, I'm taking a carry-on bag. I'm taking a carry-on bag and my backpack. I am not fooling around with no suitcase. Now, I have traveled out of the country several times, and even within the country, I've traveled, and I've never had this many problems on a flight on traveling. And it just made me think, like, okay, I don't need all these things that I take. I think people always overtake things in terms of clothes and all that kind of stuff. I said, when I go to China, watch how I packed. I ain't hardly taking nothing. I'm be wearing stuff twice in a row. I don't care because I'm not packing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm taking a carry on. I want my bag with me at all times, and I'm just trying to alleviate any possibilities of any kind of discrepancies or anything. And another thing is, I checked my Japan flights. They have me on 3 flights coming back from Japan to Tampa. I'm changing that. I'm changing that. And if they don't let me change it, I'm canceling that flight. I'm canceling that trip, and I'm gonna redo the trip all over and get my money back and redo the trip all over, because I am not taking 3 flights from Japan back, especially after. And then I looked at the layover times. One of the layover times is only 45 minutes. I said, oh no, not me. I'm not doing no 45-minute layovers. I need more time than that. Just in case something happened again, I have some time. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to be calling those people today, and I'm going to be changing that flights, or I'm going to be canceling that Japan trip and starting all over with rebooking it. But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing those 3 flights back. And here's the thing. You can take a straight flight from Atlanta to Japan, because the first layover or the second layover, okay, we leave Osaka and go to Hanoi. I think it's called Hanoi. That's the Tokyo's big airport. And then from there, they was taking me to Atlanta, and then back to Tampa. I said, oh no, how come I just can't go to Atlanta and I can just drive back from Atlanta to Florida? So I'm going to change that flight because I learned some things, hopefully what I went through in my travels to Portugal will not happen again. But there are a couple things I can do to make the situation not be as complicated as they were this time around. Okay. Overall, I thought the Portugal trip was okay. There were some challenges with my hip. The trip itself, even let's hypothetically say that my hip did not hurt and I was able to go out on all the walking tours, yada, yada, yada. Portugal is an old historical country, I think. And they had some beautiful things. The streets and everything were very interesting. And as I'm going to show you guys in some a slideshow soon, since I feel like doing that. But overall, I think it's just one of those things where I can say I've been to Portugal, Nothing thrilling about it at all. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I've been to Portugal. And with that being said, that is going to be a wrap for today's video, today's story time. And as always, thank you guys for taking a few minutes out of your time to watch my videos. I appreciate you guys. You know that. And I hope this story time wasn't too long, but everything happened just like I told you guys. It was something. But I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm very excited about some upcoming videos. I'm going to be trying to make 2 of those Portuguese meals, and it ain't gonna be that stew. Don't even worry, it ain't gonna be that stew. But I am going to try to make 2 of the meals. One I did not try in Portugal, but when I looked up meals, it said this was one of their most popular meals as well. But my next cooking video is going to be from an FOA, Joanne. Joanne sends me recipes every now and then. And I became curious of one, and I stopped and got the ingredients yesterday. So I'm going to be making that, and then following that, I'll start making some of the Portuguese meals that I have in mind. All right, guys. See you the next time.